right. Well, I want to welcome you to the next episode of the What Else Is New podcast. I'm Tim Graves. I'm one of the co-founders of the Graves Golf Academy. I always introduce this because I'm always afraid we're going to get the new people. The whole comes down to this is that the 2 or 3 times I don't introduce myself, I get busted because I get the people like, I don't know who you are. I just started with you guys yesterday and I don't know who you are. Okay, well, I'm Tim Graves, co-founder of the Graves Golf Academy. I founded this company 25 years ago with my brother, and we've grown every year since. But in this podcast, we'll jump right to the point here. I've got actually Brad Fulton here, and he's one of my instructors here, one of my big time instructors. I can say one of my master instructors here. But Brad, I want to have Brad introduce himself with us. And Brad, have you been with me on a podcast before? I
have not been on a podcast yet.
He hasn't been here. So he's a rookie with me on this one. Okay. But I'm going to call this the CoachNow, or like CoachNow Rocks podcast, because we're going to talk a lot about CoachNow, and I'm going to talk about why I'm brought this up. And I'm also have Chris Henning who's going to come in here in a minute and jump in with me and have him talk a little bit too about CoachNow. But before we get into that, since you are the rookie, I want Brad to introduce himself a little bit. Tell me where you're from, how long you've been with us, and then and so on, and why you're so important. That's probably the best thing to put it.
Why I'm so important.
Why you're so important, especially to Graves Golf.
For sure. Yeah. So I'm a PGA member. I've been in the golf business for 20 plus years. Got into golf at an early age. My brother was always better at every sport than I was, and so I selected golf, and it selected me. I made a hole-in-one my first week I played golf, so I was kind of hooked, from the beginning.
See, I still think you're lying about that, but that's okay.
Well, there was nobody else around, but me and my maker know who made the hole-in-one.
Hey, well, you've said it enough now, so there's that when you say it enough, you kind of believe through your lies, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
But like I said, I've been in the golf business for 20 plus years, and really enjoy the game of golf and getting people better at golf. I've been through the country club business and have been in a couple of different country clubs here in Oklahoma City, and enjoyed the time there. Teaching full time is a little bit different for me, and being able to just teach full time has been a big change for me and an enjoyable change.
Before we go on, talk a little bit about the country clubs that you've been at. Now, number one, you're at Shawnee. Tell me where you've been, because first of all, you're 20 years plus, right?
Right.
So are you official life member now?
Not quite yet.
Okay,
Not quite yet. Yeah, I'm getting close.
Out those that don't understand this out there, when you become an official life member of the PGA, you have to jump through all the hoops to still be a PGA member, because we have to get points and do all these different things and pay all this stuff and be members. I
think I've got one more year. Yeah. One more.
Well, I know our PGA numbers are really close. So, because I'm 19 plus, so I know we're really close to being at the same time.
Yeah.
So you kind of start. How old are you?
I turned 52 this month.
Maybe that was illegal for me to ask that. Was that like against the OSHA or something like that? Okay. So yeah, I'm an old guy compared to you, but we got into this basically at PGA at the same time.
Yep. So
tell me a little bit, give me a little bit of your history of what you've done. Cause let's let people know about this, because you spent, some guys get in the golf business and they are in the fringe of the golf business. They may go work at a box store, they may go work at a driving range, or they might go and they're playing for a living, but they're kind of doing things on the side. There's a lot of different levels of PGA. In fact, I think it's like 30 some levels or whatever. Yeah. But you went in both feet, full bore in the PGA. Am I right?
Yeah.
This is what you did. So tell me, give me a little bit of history.
Yeah. So my first course that I actually worked at is I worked at a public golf course in Norman, working maintenance. So I was on a mower, changed cups, knew everything, irrigation tech. I did all that.
And what course was that?
It was Westwood Park in Norman.
Westwood, my baby. That was my 4th of July tournament. I used to go play Westwood. I think you may have been down there.
I was probably there. Yeah.
That was, when I was an amateur, I go down and play in the Westwood 4th of July tournament. It was a big tournament.
Very big.
In fact, a lot of my very good friends from Greg Bray and stuff who were down there. Was Greg down there?
Greg was there. Yeah. He was in the pro shop when I was outside.
But the greatest thing about that tournament, it was a 4th of July tournament. When you won it, you won a sports coat.
Oh yeah.
So you want a coat? I won 4 of them, bud.
Oh wow.
I won 4. And I gave away 3 to my dad. I didn't need a sports coat. I won sports coat. That was amazing. And every year I'd go down, it would be like, it was religious. It was over the 4th of July weekend. About July 7th or 8th, my dad would call me and go, "Do we get another sports coat?" So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead. Okay,
yeah. So I got my start in the golf business with that, and then ended up opening up a golf course in Western Oklahoma at Hinton.
Okay.
It was Sugar Creek Canyon.
Wow. And you opened that up?
I opened it up.
I had no idea you did that.
Yeah. So I was in the pro shop. In fact, my first day on the job, I got to mow the hill on number 12. And it was, A lot of fun.
This golf course out there in Hinton, Oklahoma. Now, didn't Mark Hayes design that?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Mark Hayes passed away a couple of years ago, but he designed a lot of courses around here. But it's built basically on a penitentiary grounds. I mean, it's one of the biggest penitentiaries in Oklahoma, and it's built. I always thought the people who ran the penitentiary maintained the golf course.
Well, the saying goes is that the judge would ask the criminal, do you play golf? Uh-huh. And if they said yes, they sent him to Hinton.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, it's a massive prison. It is huge. And you can see it from a lot of the golf course. It was a pretty good golf course.
It was.
It's not there.
It's not open any longer.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Wasn't there a hole like you hit across the road? I mean, it's like the tee box was like right up against the road, up against the fence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a par 5 that was easier to play 7-iron than it was to hit a driver.
Yeah. It was
kind of.
So you opened that up?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it shows you the history of what I know of my staff.
Right.
How long were you out there?
So I was there for about 10 months, and one of the local golf pros at the greens at the time, good friend of ours. And, but he came out and played golf, and I just happened to jump in their group that day, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to apply for a job?" He said, "I have one open." And I was like, "Yeah, it keeps me from driving the 55 minutes it took me to get to work every day." And I said, "Yeah, for sure." And so I got hired on there at the greens and there for 3.5 years. And then
now he was probably out there because of the casino.
No, the casino wasn't there at the time. Yeah, it wasn't there at the time.
But I'm right?
But you're probably right. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
But then after I was at the greens for about 3.5 years, in the pro shop, kind of getting my first feel of what the country club business was like.
Okay.
Folding t-shirts, running tee times, tell people that I'm a PGA member, and everybody thinks that I play golf all the time. and that was about as far from the truth as a lot of people think.
You sell more socks.
Around it.
You sell more socks than you play golf. Trust me on that one.
Right. Yeah. You filled a lot of complaints, people coming in and complaining about the slow group or the.
Hey, and by the way, I'm going to give this a shout out. I'm going to give this little perk out there because we got 2 PGA professionals right talking. For all those that are listening to this, every so often walk in the pro shop and tell the pro something you liked that day about the course, please, because it'll be the one thing they heard that month that he liked. Walk in there and just say, "Hey, those greens are really good today." Or, "Hey, whatever. I don't care what it is. Hey,
anything.
The sky was so blue today and you did a great job." And I don't care what you say. Am I right?
No, that's exactly right.
Because they never, and especially the superintendents and the pros, never, ever, ever get compliments, do they?
They hardly ever get the compliments.
Yeah. So it's just do 1 or 2. First of all, you'll become their best friends.
Right.
But second of all, because the amount of complaining about slow play, speed of play, who they're behind, who's ahead of them, the greens, it's just insane, isn't it?
It is, not getting the right tee time and so on and so forth.
Insane.
It's always kind of crazy. So then from the greens, I went to Quail Creek in Oklahoma City, and worked there for about 3.5 years, and then went to Shawnee Country Club, and I was the head professional, / general manager / did a lot of things.
You ran the show at Shawnee.
Yes.
And how long were you there?
I did that for 5 years.
Shawnee's a good course. Shawnee's about 45 minutes outside Oklahoma City.
Yep.
So you went from Hinton to Shawnee. That's like opposite sides.
Well, I went from yes and no. Yes.
Yeah. So you were 55 minutes one direction, 45 minutes the other direction.
Right.
Did you live in Shawnee?
I did. Yeah. We renovated a house there, and my wife and I did, and had our first child, there, and so we it was a good place to be. The day that my wife was driving back and forth for work to Oklahoma City, and the day that my daughter comes in and says, "Dad, why does it take you, 5 minutes to get home, and it takes us 45 minutes to get home?"
Yeah.
Started thinking about things a little bit differently.
Shawnee's a good little community, though. Shawnee, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So
it was a fun experience, and learned a lot about the golf business, and learned a lot about.
So for 3 years, you ran the show there at Shawnee. That's a big time. How many members you guys have at Shawnee?
There was roughly about 100 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, 100. Solid, and we did Monday events and did a lot of fundraising events type deals for.
And Shawnee's a decent track. I mean, it's got some funky holes on it, and people go play tournaments like, how do you play 16? How do you play 17? I mean, but it's a decent car. I mean, you have Fire Lake down the road, so I mean, it's a good golf community.
Yeah.
So you went from Shawnee and you came into Oklahoma,
and then I went to Oklahoma City, and I was there for about 12 years.
Oklahoma City Golf Country Club, and assistant pro there, Oklahoma City.
Yes.
So you got back, and Oklahoma City is a blue blood. It is old school, lot of money country club. It's the old school country club of Oklahoma City. So you guys all out there who have your country clubs, that one in your city that's been there for 100+ years, and that's where all the money, a lot of the money is. That was Oklahoma City Country Club.
That was it. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great people there.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing that I, from a membership perspective, I mean, they were all great members.
Right.
They would have their quirks, there's certain things that they would complain about or not. And, not everybody complains about everything, but when somebody says something, you kind of.
Yeah. But the interesting part is Shawnee Country Club that you ran. It's more of, it's a country style. I mean, it's out in the country, sort of. It's very relaxed.
Right.
I mean, you could have at one time, you might have 10 people on the course and wouldn't be unusual.
Right.
It's going to be, even for a couple of days, you might not see many people for a couple of days in the winter.
Sure.
Oklahoma City Country Club, no. That is high maintenance. They want you to pick the bags up in the parking lot.
Right.
They don't want to carry their shoes into the pro shop.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So it's different worlds.
Different worlds. Yeah. I mean, I would say it was two different, two different facilities for sure.
And which is interesting because something like Shawnee, you could have a head pro and a GM that could run that and like you did and run the whole thing very effectively. In Oklahoma City, you got to have 10 people running.
Oh yeah.
You got at least, and that's why you came in and started running your area in Oklahoma City.
Right. Yeah. That was, and we were very big on, selling, shirts and hats and, all the merchandise that's in the golf shops that you see. And we were in the top 100 shops in the nation.
Oh yeah.
Country.
No doubt about it.
And, but we worked really hard at that.
Yeah.
Very hard at that.
Yeah, they did. And expected to.
Right.
I know the head pro there and a good guy. I've known him for a long time and you expected to do that. I mean, 60 hours a week are norms. So
yeah, for sure.
So then things changed. Welcome to the Golf Country Club and so things changed. And then I'd heard through the grapevine because you were a staple there. You'd been there forever. And I was like, and then I heard through the grapevine that you were looking or that you were looking for a different position, you're looking for a new job. And I heard that there were some things that came up, some rep jobs that came up. And in the golf industry, you got, we talked about, you got all kinds of different levels, but you were looking to become a rep, different places, do different things. Right. And I couldn't believe that you weren't going to still be out there. So I called you. I actually called up the head pro at Oklahoma City and said, I'm going to call him up. Is that okay? And I said, do you think he'd be interested? Because I was like, I didn't know how much you taught. I knew you were really good golf professional. I knew you were a good teacher and I knew you were very deep into the industry, but I didn't even know if you'd be interested. So I called you up. And just open a kind of line of communication with you. And he said, well, give me about a day. And then I said, well, the big thing with Graves Golf is I said that you only really work weekends when we're teaching schools. And remember you saying to me, you should open up with that.
Yeah. I think that was my exact words. I said, Tim, we would have had a very short conversation if you would have opened up with that.
Yeah, because we teach a lot of schools during the week and, you do get weekends off. And for 20 years, you probably hadn't had a Saturday or Sunday off, had you?
It's been
yeah, it was like for the life of your PGA, you hadn't had a weekend off probably. Okay. So then Brad came on board and Brad's been at this for a while now. And, but his main job with Graves Golf is obviously he goes into schools with us. He's an instructor with Graves Golf, but he actually is an elite coach. So he has a numerous amount of elite students, level 4 students, that he does instruction with, and he does personal, basically Zoom instruction, one-on-one instruction, but his specialty is the CoachNow. Okay. And I want to have Brad talk about CoachNow is how it works for us, what benefits it has for us, because he's the expert. And then I'll talk about a little bit what happened yesterday, but go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, for sure. So, CoachNow is our video platform that we use to, a member will take a video of their own swing face on and down the line. So it would be 2 separate videos. And when they post those to CoachNow, then our online coaches are able to see those videos, go in and do their reviews. And whenever they do the review, then the member gets it immediately back on CoachNow. It is an app that you have on your phone, your iPad. You can also access it through your computer. You can see the reviews through your computer, and see what's kind of going on. You can't video and things like that through your computer, but you can through your iPhone or through a mobile device. Right. I shouldn't say just iPhone because there are, Android devices are used as well. And so, I mean, it's a very good platform. We experienced a few minor issues, with CoachNow, and I would say the biggest thing with CoachNow, the questions that I get through CoachNow are just, how to use it.
Right.
And so we've done a good job of getting a website together to see that.
CoachNow is our video capture system that allows people to take their Apple phone, their phone, whatever, their smart apparatus, could be an iPad, a phone, whatever. Most people carry an Android phone, smartphone, and go film what they're doing. It could be something on the range. It could be something on the short game. It could be some exercise they're doing on the side, whatever. And then submit it to our coaches for review, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Now, So that is what CoachNow does for us. Okay. So how is that? So what I wanted to tell it there. So right now, let's say we're talking to two different groups of people out there.
Yep.
We're talking to groups of people that use CoachNow, like, oh yeah, it's wonderful and I love it. And then the second group out there is the second you say record something on your phone and send it in for review, it scares them. Okay. So they're freaked out from it. Okay. Tell them why this isn't that hard, or tell them why it's simple, because we keep saying that, but I want it from the source. I want you to tell them why it's not that hard. Just explain that.
Yeah. So, a little history about me, and I'll start with this on that, is that I have zero computer, knowledge. Okay. In fact, the day that I got my Apple computer, my Apple laptop, I literally had to ask James across my desk, because we were sharing offices at the time. As I said, James, how do I turn this thing on?
So that was only,
I had zero
in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that was 2 years. That was like right at 2 years.
So not like you were 10 years old.
Right. So,
so you're basically 50 years old and trying to figure out how to turn on an Apple computer.
How to turn on on a MacBook. Yes.
Right. Okay.
And so
I understand. Okay.
Right. So, I just didn't know the functions right at the time. And so,
this is coming from the PC world. Okay.
Right. This is coming from PC world guy. And so I, don't have the computer background. I don't have, a lot of, I've used apps and things that they've come along.
Right. Well, when you're in your golf industry for 20 years, you're using the PCs to do the books. You're doing the Excel spreadsheets. Right. That's what you're doing.
Right.
You're not doing an Apple computer creativity, video capture. You're not doing that.
Not doing that at all. Right. And I've had a little bit of, I didn't have experience with CoachNow when I opened up CoachNow. I'd used it once, from it was a summit that I went to, and somebody suggested it. So I opened it up, looked at it, and kind of put it away. And then, my first day on the job, it was kind of like, hey, we need to find a new platform, how to use, video capture.
Right.
And, not knowing how many members we had and not knowing anything, basically my first day, I'm like, okay, this is a good one, but this is a good one. I had a couple of different ones that we kind of had to choose from. And CoachNow kind of met all the needs that we needed.
Right.
And has done a great job. So as far as the application and answering your question about, the first thing that you do is when you get into there, everybody is scared to do anything.
Right.
It's like, and you really can't mess it up.
So you can't mess it up.
You really can't. The only thing, if it asks you to pay for something,
right,
and you decide to pay for something, that's the one mistake that I've had to clean up a little bit in the past. But if CoachNow ever asks you to pay for anything, don't.
Right.
Contact me through email or whatever the case may be. And then, but yeah, you should never have to pay for anything. We absorb all the cost on that.
Right.
And then, you're sending in the videos. The website that we've put together to go in and see how to use CoachNow has done a very good job explaining. And it's basically my presentation that we do at the schools every single week that we have a school. And it basically spells it out how to do it.
Right.
To me, I'm one of those guys that if I see it on a computer over here and I'm playing it, I've got my iPhone or my iPad over here and I'm doing it.
Right.
And that's the easiest way to understand how to do it. And it's I would say it's very similar to the golf swing.
So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use CoachNow.
Me. I'm not a rocket scientist.
Most of our students aren't. They're not. They're not these computer geeks. These people that understand. No, they're our demographic, 60, 65, 7-year-old guys and gals, right?
Yeah.
Who are sending in just off their iPhone, right?
Right.
So describe what our average. So tell them right now. So what is our average demographic or student? What are they doing? They send in a video, because you get these every single day.
Yeah.
In fact, you got one yesterday, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but describe, because that was a little bit different, but describe what they're doing. So just describe, what are they doing?
Yeah. So, it's literally a swing, one of your swings, whether it be a face on or down the line. And, it's roughly about a 2-second video, and trimming the video, you can push the play button or, the record button, go in, take your swing, come back to the screen, click on it, and then turn it off as far as the recording goes. And then you basically trim the video to about 2 seconds. And then once you do that, then you post it to the account, and then
so you go in your CoachNow app.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. It's all through the CoachNow app.
You go into CoachNow app, and then you pull, then you go in there, and then you pull up and you shoot the video in there.
Yes.
So the app walk right into the app.
It's all through the app.
Yep. So it's all through the app, and it's a very simple app on the phone.
Right.
Very simple.
Right.
Okay. And then you trim the video, which is real easy to do.
Really easy to do.
2 seconds.
Right. Takes. Yeah. it's very simple to do once you know which buttons to push.
Right.
It's very simple.
And then you submit it.
And then you submit it. Yes.
Okay. And when you submit it, where does it go from there? So it doesn't just go into your phone and stay there.
Right. Right.
What happens when they submit it?
Yeah. So once you post your video, it'll go to if you're a level 3 member, it will go to the level 3 coaches. Right. So you have a pool of coaches that will actually take those videos They will split them up to whomever's needing those videos done. And, Clay and the team will do their videos.
We have 4 coaches right now that sit in level 3 that do level 3 coaching. And it's all just a numbers game because we have hundreds. Actually, we got close to thousands of members in level 3. And so those that can push those that can get the video, those that can get the videos in, and we have some that send them in once a week, every couple of days. Some send them in once a month. Some never send them in. So it's always kind of a numbers game for us. But we try to turn them over. How long do we try it? How long till they post? So if they post one, how long does it take to get back to them?
Yeah. So it takes roughly about less than 24 hours typically. Yeah. If you post one on a Monday, typically you're getting that back by Tuesday morning.
And that's what we said there because people tend to post on weekends more. So it slows it down a little bit on weekends. But no, we try to get 24-hour turnaround.
Right.
So they're sending it in. So when they send in the video, and let's say they got a face on view and they're swinging some on the range or doing something inside, what do they get when they get back? What do they typically get back?
Yeah. So they'll get a review back that will have, our online coaches basically explaining what they see. They'll give you a few, one pointers that they're seeing that you need to fix in the swing itself. And then they will, basically give you a link to go look at, Graves Golf on Demand,
right,
and, say, hey, watch this. This will help with that process. Right. And then what we suggest is that you work on that and then send another video in to see, and it's not an immediate thing. We have a few people that send in, videos, day and day and day.
Right.
And that's not really how the process really works.
No, but you got to work a little time to work on it. They're going to do it again. And if you need to email one of the coaches and talk to them about, hey, what they said, or give them a call, you can always do that. You know what I'm saying? But you're sending a video. We want to you got to work on it for a couple of days. Not just think it's going to repair overnight. It's
right.
So, okay. So now you have that. And then, but you also have level 4.
Yes.
Okay, so that's level 3. So that's, I'm not going to say majority, but that's our level 3. Now level 4 is a little bit different because level 4 is we call it the elite membership. Okay. And level 4, to talk about that is a little bit different there. Yeah.
So level 4, you have an individual coach. Mm-hmm. So, and it's more of a personal one-on-one with the coach itself. So, I've got roughly close to 50 students, and out of those students, I'll get videos in and do the reviews, as soon as I get them.
Right.
And once I get those in, then, and I kind of have a different relationship with those guys. In other words, I'm kind of getting, one-on-ones with them,
right,
and they're very, very specific on what we're really working towards.
Right.
And we set up goal setting meetings. We set up a lot of different things, and in those goal setting meetings, I know what those people are wanting to work on.
Right.
And so I kind of tailor my instruction towards that.
Right.
And if somebody says, hey, I'm really good at striking the golf ball, my short game is awful, that's the place I focus on. I focus on what their needs are and expectations.
And that was the whole difference because level 3, we had a lot of members. We have a lot of members in level 3. Literally thousands in level 3. But we had those members that said, I want more. I want personalized instruction. I want to send in more videos. I want a one-on-one coach. And that was the whole thing. So the level 4 really pushed it into a one-on-one coach.
Right.
And so that you could literally focus and say, hey, when you go on the golf course, you can turn in your stats. I can now sit there. Is this working? Is this not? When you go out there and you're in your mental game struggling, you can talk to them about the mental. That's what this is all about. That's what the level 4 is all about.
Right.
I'm not going to say it's the more serious golfer, but it's the one who wanted more serious one-on-one attention.
Right.
That's what level 4 is all about.
That's exactly
now. Right. I'm going to bring Chris up here in a second too and talk to him for a second about we're starting to see some new things on fitness with the CoachNow. But talk about yesterday, because yesterday I came in here and I was running around doing some stuff like normal, and I came in here and you were it was relatively cold out. Wasn't anybody on the golf course out here, and you were inside doing a Zoom session with Clark Lateral, right? Clark.
Yep.
And if anybody knows Clark out there, and we can talk about Clark. When Clark's been to a few alumni, he's been to a lot of schools, but when he comes to alumni schools, and he's always wearing the crazy shorts and the crazy shirts. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
He dresses to the T. It's pretty, man. I love it. You can always pick out Clark in the crowd.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Clark's a really good guy. Yesterday, tell me with the process you went through with Clark yesterday, because he's an elite member, right?
Yes. He's one of my elite students. Okay.
Yes. So what were you doing with Clark yesterday? So now where was Clark at? Was he in Texas? Where was he at yesterday?
No, he was actually in Oregon.
He was in Oregon.
Yes.
Really? The weather was that good in Oregon yesterday?
It was cloudy when we started, and I didn't see the sun very much, but yes.
So Clark was in Oregon. You're here in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Right.
And tell him what you were doing.
Yeah. So what we did is we set up a Zoom session, and basically what he does is he pulls out his phone and has it set up on a tripod, and we, I'll have him warm up if he hasn't warmed up yet, and I'll kind of watch him. And best way to do it is, you have a basically earbuds or something in your ear, and I can basically be talking to you through the entire swing, and if I see a camera angle that's wrong, we fix that.
Right.
We fix it. We get everything set up exactly how I want it before we take the videos. And then while he's hitting shots, I actually will, sneak in and video one of the swings that he doesn't know about.
Right.
And because I think that whenever you push the play button and then you have to step in and you say, this is the swing that has to count.
Right.
You do something different.
I don't disagree.
Or you cherry pick videos. I've had a few students that cherry pick videos, and they're like, I've got to send the best video to my coach. And, so I'll during the Zoom sessions, I won't tell them when I'm videoing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have them up. I'm watching them I have two screens. I have my laptop sitting there, my iPad sitting there.
Right.
My iPad, I can record the screen. And whenever I'm doing that, then basically I'll take a face on, I'll take it down the line. And then about, 3 or 4 or 5 swings into it, I'll pull him back and say, hey, let's take a look at this. And so on his side, he's seeing me and then I can share my screen with him and pull up my CoachNow app and then have that showing on his screen. So, and then we talk about what.
So he can have an iPhone on there.
Yeah.
Just sitting there on it, and you can have, this real easy mechanisms. You can have an iPhone sitting on a little stand there.
Yeah.
And then you're watching everything he's doing in the range. So hitting balls, and then you're talking to him. So he goes and takes a break. He walks over there, starts talking to you on the phone.
Yep.
And he's got his earbud in, and you're talking to him through that. And you're talking, right? It's just one-on-one coaching.
Yes.
No, guys, it's beyond cool. I mean, this is the optimal in technology and golf instruction. And I don't really think people understand it out there, how this works, because I was watching this yesterday. I was like, this is so cool, because he's up in Oregon. I mean, we're a couple thousand miles away from him, and he's getting a personalized lesson from you through this Zoom session.
Right.
And it was great, because he's like, Clark was doing some issues of trying to get his hands lean a little better, trying to create more shaft lean. And he's like, go work on this. And now, yes, you didn't get to see ball flight, which is fine. And so he hit a shot or two, and you say, how was that? How was that? And he described me. He say, well, I did this, I did that. And you sit there and say, okay, I saw this, I saw that. I think you want to change this. Let's do these drills. Let's try that. I mean, it was amazing.
Right.
It was amazing. I mean, guys, it is the optimal. And it's interesting about this is that when I'm out at my country club and I'm out and I'm seeing these professionals, I see some of them do this a little bit, but it's not even to this extent. I'm saying this was cool. This was a one-on-one Zoom session and how many of these Zoom sessions do you do? I mean, do you do them quite often? Yeah,
I would say I probably do anywhere from 3 to 6 a week.
Yeah.
Depending on weather situations. And I think that sometimes I could do more.
Right.
I want to do more.
Right.
And I'll send out the link to my students and say, hey, let's get a Zoom session together. And a lot of times people are, I have one student that, was a little bit questionable about the program at one point.
Right.
And hopefully you don't mind me sharing the story, but, and so, this person was like, I don't know if I really want to continue the elite program. Right. And I said, you know what, let's do a Zoom session. We haven't done a Zoom session. We need to do a Zoom session. Let me show you what value this has.
Yeah.
And this person was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because
I had no clue.
When you send it in a video, it's great.
Yeah.
But there is a lag there, maybe a day, maybe half a day, maybe a day and whatever. There's a lag there. And I don't have a problem with that, but sometimes people are like, whatever.
Right.
The Zoom session is immediate.
Right.
It is an instructor standing in front of you, but just not standing there. It is immediate response.
Right.
And it's cool, crazy. Because I'm watching this yesterday. I know you real well. I know Clark obviously real well. And I saw the interaction between you two, and it was phenomenal. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is the exciting part of this. And so now our other coaches do that too of the elite program, correct?
They do.
They do. So there's Zoom sessions. That's the whole point. I mean, so guys, it's more than just saying, oh, we can film in a video, send it in. You can do basically a personalized one-on-one Zoom sessions with our coaches, and you send out calendars to get people on there and everything. It makes it easy for them to do this.
Right.
All right.
Right. Yeah. The only thing, during a Zoom session, the only thing I can't do is reach through the screen
and grab
a hold of them and move their body.
Which we'd like to.
Yeah. But I think all the coaches have a good relationship with their students and are verbal enough to say, this is what we need to see, and if we're not seeing that, then you're probably not doing it the right way. And
you're seeing exactly what involves with what we do at Graves Golf, because we call it different levels. How personalized you want to get with this. We're not going to say how serious you are, but how deep down the rabbit hole. I always say that you want to get. You can become a member of Graves Golf and just get our on-demand information, just study it from abroad. It's like a level 2 member, and just kind of try to guess on your own and get in your own. It works. It's good stuff. Or you can jump into level 3 and get the CoachNow and start sending a couple of videos a month and start working with our coaches on board and start saying, okay, what can I, where do I need to work on? Because then you're getting that yes, eyes on what's going on. There's no guessing anymore. Right. Level 2, there's always guessing. Level 3, get rid of the guessing. Then you jump into level 4, and it's hands on. Right. It is personalized, one-on-one. Here we go. You got your coach hands on. Right. Can't get much better than that. You know what I'm saying? And I saw walking, talking to that yesterday. That was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That was a good session. And like I said, I get to know my students.
Yeah.
I've got, students from different places throughout the world, really.
Absolutely.
And, sometimes there's a little challenge on, on timing on that. But
Right.
I mean, if I've got somebody that's in Thailand that needs to do one at 9:00 at night, I do one at 9:00 at night.
So basically you've combined the CoachNow with the Zoom session, which
Yes.
is this, and that's how that works. And it's very easy and very functional to doing that.
Yeah.
And plus you get to record it. So now you get to keep that. So now if Clark called you up tomorrow, the next day you did another Zoom session, you have the one from the previous. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
You can always
Absolutely.
refer back to that.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, look, Clark, you gotten better. Hey, Clark, you're not getting me. Whatever.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or you
Sure.
made a dang change.
Right. Right.
No, but that's
and
huge.
I've had other students that have requested me record the entire session.
Right.
So they can go back and see everything that's been said. And I don't record all of them, from, just to be able to send them back and forth.
Right.
But I mean, if somebody requests it and says, hey, can you record this whole Zoom session? Then I'll record the whole Zoom session.
Now, how many elite coaches or how many level 4 coaches do we have?
We've got 4.
4. Yeah.
4.
And they all have an X amount of students. I mean,
Right.
Yep. Because level 4 is much smaller than level 3 for this very reason. And we've always been very hesitant to put a lot of people in level 4 because of this, because as you can see, it can take a lot of time. I mean, you sat there with, Clark for 30 to 45 minutes yesterday. I mean, and all of a sudden you get 3 or 4 of those going a day. You're trying to manage all this. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. But so it's kind of interesting. I mean, this is what we do at Graves Golf. I think people really think that it's just doing golf schools out there or selling golf clubs to them. No. The majority of what we do are these sessions. This is a majority because what you just said, 4 elite coaches, we have 4 other coaches. That's 8 coaches right there working right now on just video review for Graves Golf.
Right.
And we train and we put more people in. If you need to come, if you want to come in, we're going to put more people in. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
we can get more coaches. We're training them as we speak.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, anything else you want to throw in this? Because I want to bring in Chris here for a second.
Yeah. Let's bring Chris in and let's see what the
I didn't want to say we're going to downgrade to Chris, but we're going to bring Chris in here. So so I shot one of the fast forward deals with Chris this morning. So he's got me all stretched out. So now he hurt me this morning. So now I can bust him a little bit.
Bust him up a little bit.
Bust a little bit. But you want to come in, Chris?
Yeah.
So yep. All right. Thanks,
good.
Brad. Appreciate it. Bud.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, I got Chris Henning in here now, and just for a couple of seconds, I want to bring Chris in because this is kind of the CoachNow talk. And I was going to talk to Brad about this, and I was going to have Brad was going to be this one for today, but I wanted to bring you in just for a couple minutes because in the Fast Forward program this morning, we were talking about the exercise and flexibility, and that's the third week of it's going to be 4 times out for 4 months. It's the third session of each month. Am I right?
Correct.
Is the flexibility one?
Yep.
But you did a little something different this year because you said I want to call in some videos. I want guys to do the flexibility and the stretching of the videos, right?
Yep.
And you called those in, and you said you started getting a bunch of them in. All right.
Yeah, I probably got last night. I was up late, usually past my 9 p.m. I was up until about 10:30 doing videos, and I think I had about 30 submitted.
So tell them what you're seeing because this is interesting because you guys. This is why I brought him in here because. If I ever said send in a video, 99% of you guys are going to sit there thinking about, I'm going to get in a driving range. I'm going to put a bucket of balls down. I'm going to hit some balls and I'm going to video it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's not what this is all about. Tell them what this was. What was this?
So what they sent in was a TPI assessment,
Okay.
The overhead deep squat assessment. And what that does, that tells me so much.
Right.
Like there's so much information that I can see from that. I can tell if it's an upper body,
Right.
a lower body, it's a joint issue,
Right.
a specific joint, and so on and so forth. And these videos that I'm getting in, I've gotten one that was perfect.
There you go. Well,
One. And the way TPI grades these, it's
Right.
pass or fail.
Right.
So I've had 29 fails
Okay.
in 1 pass.
Well, here's the deal. TPI, what it is a Tyler's Performance Institute, but basically in 2 seconds or less, is basically what they did was Dr. Rose came up with a system about to test the flexibility of golfers and to see if they were flexible enough to hit certain positions in the golf swing. And then what we did is we took this information, compiled it into basically single plane swing and said, okay, so then what Chris did was, and he's done this in the Fast Forward program, is saying, okay, I'm going to give you guys some exercises or some drills, or whatever you want to call them. And I want you to send in attempting those drills or attempting those exercises,
Right.
those movement.
Yep.
And I'm going to analyze them. And if you passed them, great. I'm saying you've done really good. Now let's go do something else. If you didn't, I'm going to give you some things to work on. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was doing last night. I was actually out in my gym filming corrective exercises for guys that I noticed off of that deep squat assessment. And, I'm sending them all kinds of stuff. And the goal is, and some of this wasn't even in the week that they did, but I'm noticing some very severe issues.
Right.
So what I'm doing is I'm giving them kind of a head start.
Right.
So they will be even better week 3, week 4, month 4.
Right.
And that's the goal here, is to really kind of unlock their body. Cause there was a lot of, I would say upper body issues I'm noticing. Lower body, lower half was pretty good.
Right.
Part. But I don't want people to think like, if pass or fail, if you fail, this is bad. There's tour pros.
Right.
Probably 50% of them can't pass these tests.
Here's the deal. And I want to explain this to you guys. And I know we've said this before that people have done this, but TPI, when it was originally set up, they rated it as, this was years ago. There was basically 8 major areas of the body they looked at, from like the wrists, the hips, the knees, the shoulders, etc. Okay. And they went and tested PGA pros, male, female, LPGA, PGA pros, and they went and gave them these tests of the different areas of the body. And said, okay, how flexible is your wrist? How flexible is your shoulder? How flexible is your hip? And then they came in and they would test an average golfer. It didn't matter your age, didn't matter your demographic, whatever. And they say, okay, the closer you get to these professionals' flexibility, the closer you'll be able to hit to their positions that these people are trying to hit. And at that time, they gave you a scale. It was like a percentage scale, like 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. But they got really confusing. And even the TPI instructors, and I was one of them, was confused by this, because what is 50%? What is 30%? What's 60%? So then what they did is they came back and said, let's just do a pass and fail. Okay. Because you either can do it or you can't do it. Well, that freaked everybody out, because the average golfer would go take these 8 tests and fail 7 of them.
Oh yeah.
Because you're not Gumby. We're not Gumbies. And even when I took it the first time, I failed 5 out of the 8. I mean, and I was a scratch golfer. I was a professional that was a very good professional, and I failed 5 out of 8. Okay.
Yep.
So it was like, so then they came back and said, okay, guys, you've got to soften this up, because the TPI instructor was like going, you failed it. You know what I'm saying? And people were like, and as guys, we didn't want to hear that. We were trying to pass everything. Our testosterone's kicking in. So you're saying, when you fail it, you just need to get more work in this area.
Yeah. All it's doing is revealing there's an issue there.
Right.
And, some people have a bigger issue or lesser issue or whatever it is. But that tells me these tests, I'm able to look at them visually and inspect and say, okay, I know exactly what to work on.
Right.
And that's what I was doing last night, was filming these videos. Like I was doing upper body, I was doing lower body, and uploading these videos all into CoachNow.
There you go. So, and that's the reason I brought Chris in here, because just for a few minutes, I just want to talk about it. So that's another use of CoachNow. Yes, it is a video capture. It's you filming the videos and giving it back to them. But think about it now. So now you've got the long game. You can do short game on there. You can do video. This is what it's all about. Am I right? This is amazing.
Yeah. So I can actually, I can type it all out, the instructions, and then I can say, hey, go watch this video, which is what I was doing. And a lot of these, one of the exercises I call backswing angel, and it's designed to kind of expand the chest a little bit there. And, so I went out to the gym, recorded it all on the CoachNow thing, uploaded it, done.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. And so then this morning, the last thing we'll talk about just for 2 seconds, because get back to me, you busted me this morning, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hips.
Your hips are.
Well, they're going to see it here in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. So we recorded it today, and it'll be the next fast forward out. And tell them what it was. So basically, what was it?
Yeah. So what we did, it's a joint mobility exercise,
right?
And it's really designed to open up your hips,
right?
And Tim's hips are super closed, I would say. And if we can get those to just open up a few more degrees, his swing speed is going to massively improve.
Which is very interesting because when I took the TPI course, which is like 15 years ago, or maybe longer than that now, it's been a long time. I took it in Orlando, and there's 200 people in the class, and there was a third of them were doctors, a third of them were physical therapists, and a third of them were pros. Okay. And they put this thing together, and they matched you up like with a physical therapist, a doctor, and then a pro. Okay. And they put you together in this, and they test you, and you look at the 3 people with you. And if you failed or you passed it, whatever, they start doing exercises, whatever. And my worst one by far was my hips and shoulder separation. When we're trying to separate those, I failed it so bad down there. I failed it. And I remember I had a girl as a physical therapist, and she made me go in front of the entire class of 200 people and show how bad I failed it.
Oh, wow.
And you saw it this morning, didn't you?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that you failed. It was actually pretty good. Yeah. But we've got, we have something to work on, right? And now we can get better at it, and we can improve it. Right. And, what's interesting about that specific stretch that you were doing, it's going to help relieve any stress on the lower back.
Oh yeah.
It's because you have a better range of motion in the hips, but the hips are, so important to the golf swing.
Well, my biggest issue I see when I go out there is when I don't play for a little bit, or I'm not keeping loose, or I'm not doing a good job, is trying to get my hip alignment, my shoulder alignment. They're always out of whack. And I'm always trying to figure this out. I'm fighting that. That's my fight in my golf swing. It's not creating leverage with my wrist. It's not great. You know what I'm saying? It's that hip. It's the hips. But that's really cool. So I wanted to bring Chris in here because think about it. He's now getting guys sending videos of them working on their flexibility and their mobility, right? And you're giving them exercises specific to them to go work on this.
And that was what I wanted. I wanted to see everybody,
right?
And kind of get a feel for, maybe how do I program the next phase of fast forward?
Right.
And it's been a real eye opener. So if you're in the program, I want to see those videos. Keep sending those in.
So that's a two-step call here. If you're in the program, if you're in the fast forward program with us, the fast forward winter training program, get the videos in. Don't just do the golf swing stuff. Don't just do the short game stuff. Get the stuff in also. For Chris, for the flexibility stuff. Don't hesitate in that. Okay. That's number one. Number two is on the last part of that one we have is mental game. There's some great Zoom sessions in that.
Oh yeah.
We have great. So become involved in the Zoom sessions. But the second call out in that also is that if you want to become a member with us, if you want level 2, 3, 4, and you want to start getting in this with this coach now, starting sending videos and things like this, let us know because we can get you guys in there, especially this time of year. There's sometimes the year is pretty closed up. This time of year we can get you in. In the winter we start getting you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you become a level 3 yearly member, you get the fast forward.
Yeah.
I mean, what's better than that?
Yeah. There you go. So you participate.
Fitness is the 8th principle.
Yeah.
Of our 7 principles. So
right. No, 100%. And then if you want to kick it up another notch, like Brad was talking about earlier, you can get in that lead program. That's the personalized one-on-one instruction. That's amazing from no matter where you are in the world. I know Brad has people in Australia, people in Canada, people in New Zealand. I mean, we're dealing with people. It's really kind of interesting when you're trying to get a time change.
How cool is that you can get, on Zoom call, you're getting a golf lesson halfway around the world.
I know.
In real time.
It's amazing. So
pretty cool.
Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today, Chris, and I want to thank you guys out there and thanks for listening to this. And if you need anything from us, please don't hesitate to email me at timg@gravesgolf.com, timg@gravesgolf.com, or you can always call us, the 866-377-2316 line. We'll get you the right spot, but let us know what we can do for you guys, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.